Hello ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk about 10.3. Let's just get to it. Akali has been nerfed pretty heftily. 20 energy on Q is humongous. Sure, with presence of mind, whatever, still it's really big. Discussing 100 energy at rank 1 really requires you to snowball now. Like if you don't get your presence of mind stacks, you're actually going to be super weak. Your all-in is going to be much worse. This is the biggest part of this nerf because I think the R change, you can still play around it. You can get away from ganks. The W sure matters, considering this is instead of move speed that you have constantly while you're in your shroud, you instead have a one-time move speed that fades out. So this is of course also significant, but the biggest one is still the energy. For solo queue, she's going to get even weaker, and for competitive, I think she loses permaban status. I think she's going to be picked and played, but not permabanned. So still fine, but not permabanned. Aphelios, infinite range. You saw these absurd clips when on Twitter or whatever, where Aphelios was just one-shotting people from afar. That is, gone. 1800 is the max range, so that's alright. This was absurd to begin with. Aphelios took a hefty nerf on 10.2, but he still seems rather strong. So I think Aphelios would not change. Azir, base mana increased, our number of soldiers increased. I don't know why they're trying to shoehorn Azir into the meta, but they're giving him small buffs over and over. I think this buff doesn't change Azir's position. There will be a time where the current meta mid laners are getting nerfed, and then Azir will come back in, and Azir still already has seen some play in the LCS and also the LEC. I think Larson played it. I think Azir is okay as a champion, and eventually other mid laners are gonna get nerfed, and Azir will be buffed because of it, and then he'll be OP again, and we'll have a boring meta. So I don't know why they're trying to buff Corki and buff Azir. So the buffs they're doing to Corki are kind of strange because they're buffing his strength over and over again. Last patch they buffed his level 6, his level 16, which was already really powerful, and now they're buffing his package, which was already really powerful. So the scaling of the damage and the duration of debuff, the burn duration, is effectively, half a second longer, which is pretty huge, honestly. And I'm assuming that the champions that get pushed out only get slowed, but they don't get burned. Because if they get burned too, then honestly, package looks pretty OP. The fact that it stays so hard with bonus attack damage, I think there is some room to explore here. Especially with the new crit items for Corki, I think he got indirectly buffed. There will be a time where Corki and Azir is back, don't worry guys. It seems like Riot really wants it. Diana didn't get played too much in competitive. I think Scout played it and Nemesis played it. Mana nerf, which means that, okay, you're going to Q one less time. The Pale Cascade. This is 12 damage on every rank, which matters, right? It matters. But I think Diana was hidden OP before. I think this is a fine nerf that brings her down a little bit. In solo queue, she was very effective. Echo, 200% to 150% against monsters, so resonance stack damage, that is passive. This is pretty big, honestly. Echo was tearing up solo queue, and this is alright, This is a fine nerf. I didn't play too much Echo personally, so I don't know what kind of benchmarks he hits or doesn't hit with this 200%. So if this hurts his clear in a way where, he needs to use an extra spell or something, this can be very significant. But I don't know about the break marks for Echo specifically. Base mana growth and attack speed growth increased. MF outdated if it is overrated, long have you waited, no longer debated. Mana growth, which is always welcome, right? You buy mana immune, you get more AD. but it's very little. Attack speed growth, I think this is more significant. This is cool. You can experiment more with builds. You can potentially buy crit or something. I'm not sure. This is cool with Welcome with Conqueror, right? You're no longer just a Q machine. You need to look to auto a little bit more. So this is cool. I think Ezreal already had a place in the meta, so any buff for Ezreal is welcome. I think Ezreal was already fine. Q Tornado duration, damage 6 increased, aiming to help Akali plays the normal skill game to get more from the Tornado element of his Q. What? What? Q Winds of War, Tornado duration, 2 seconds. Tornado damage takes 4. So they're making this change because bad players stand in the Tornado. This change is only for wave clear. This is will make it easier for Galio to like kill melees on level 5 and level 7, and you'll reach breakpoints of one-shotting melees earlier. So that's what this is for. To say that this is because noobs stand in the queue is kind of silly. Nevertheless, Leona, W and E damage decreased. Leona's damage is clipping opponent's HP bars too much. W, 60. Zenith Blade, 10 on every rank. Okay. So on level 3 all-in, you miss 10 damage. Level 2 all-in, you miss 10 damage. Level 4 all-in, you miss 15, and so forth. I think it's alright. I think these type of nerfs always hurt specific matchups, like, for example, Leona into Zyraka. That matchup was already unclear. Any type of numbers is going to shift that. In matchups where Leona was strong, meaning like Leona did okay against Nautilus, he had nerfs that were very equal to this. I think it's not going to matter too much. Of course, it makes a difference, but I still think Leona is going to be picked in the matchup she's good, and this is going to make her worse in the matchup where she's fine. So no longer like blind pick status. I think all of these buffs are just buffs to like Thresh and Zyraka. Misfortune, base attack speed growth decreased. Misfortune is doing well in all skill brackets, so we're hitting her base stats instead of abilities that certain players utilize better than others. Okay, so this is very important. This is attack speed growth. This is not the base attack speed. This is 1 dagger less at level 18. If you like even reach level 18, by the time you reach like I guess level 13 or something, you lost a dagger. But I think it's not too significant. It matters, it adds up, but the attack speed, the steroid from W and her entire kit remains intact, and the items that she's buying, Essence Reaver and also IE, are untouched. So as long as that's the case, I think it's fine. If this was base attack speed, then run away fast. But this is a base attack speed growth, so I think we're fine. I think MF is still equally strong. Whoa. Okay. Rumble. Base stats rounded, okay. W scrap shield, so this is pretty big. The movement speed is whatever. Sure, it matters, but it's still kind of whatever. You will still catch up to people to burn them with Q and so forth. This is more like if you want to skip ganks, and this might be the difference maker. The big part here is the shield, 20 on every rank. You don't want to max the shield, of course. Like you max the shield very, very late. So obviously on the last rank you are equalized again. You max W very late, and maybe this forces you to max W second or something like this. But 20 shield, and also it means 30 shield. No, how much shield does it mean? You miss 30 shield when you're heated, pretty much. So this is significant. Some of the poke matchups are going to be worse because of this for Rumble and mid, and I still think Rumble will be picked. I still think Rumble will be strong, but this nerf is still pretty chunky. This is going to make the matchups where he's worse, like if he's playing against Syndra mid or something like Orianna, this is going to hurt him in mid lane. Like the mages are very happy with a change like this, because before it was like, oh, Rumble has Mercury, I'm never going to be able to kill him again. And now maybe, oh, I can move his HP bar a little bit. Sejuani. Bonus attack speed level 1, 10%. That's huge. This is already Sejuani's back. I was surprised that we saw so little Sejuani action, considering she should be very happy with like starting Machete, going red, blue, Gromp, taking big camps only, and staying away from like Raptors and whatever before she gets items. And now with the changes to jungle that are coming, with the golems as well, Sejuani will be super happy. This change here, Frost Armor removal, only matters when you're doing things like golems and raptors, wolves, because you kill the big one and then like the small monsters just don't proc your armor, so you run around with extra armor while you're taking the jungle camp. So obviously this matters in terms of your health, but I don't think it's too significant because of the path that I just talked about. Machete, Gromp, red, blue. So Sejuani is back. Rejoice. G2 rejoice, guys. Senna. She no longer gets guaranteed souls on cannon minions. So this also counts for Spoils of War, Relic Shield and Steel Shoulder Guards. This means that, at 10 minutes, maybe you are 6 souls behind, and at 20 minutes, maybe you're 14 souls behind, and then, of course, after 20 minutes, there's a cannon wave more often. So this definitely matters. Like, if you are no longer playing Senna in a lane where you're stronger and you can't necessarily stack on the enemy, then this is going to hurt you. The stacks, it matters. This is a big deal. This is a hefty nerf, but I still think Senna is strong. Maybe she loses priority over Aphelios and MF here. Set, base health regen decrease, W cooldown increase, base damage decrease later. Okay. Health regen. So he got health regen from his passive. His health regen was pretty crazy, honestly. Cooldown, it goes up 4 seconds at the last rank, which is huge. I played a lot of sets and, a lot. I played 2 games. I feel like your moments are defined if you can get your second W off or not. If you're strong enough to get it off, meaning like if you have enough HP, enough CDR to get it off 2 times, usually you win fights. If not, then usually you lose fights. Sure, in top lane it's a bit different. I think his lane will not be too impacted by this. Obviously it matters. His lane wasn't so strong in the first place. I think this is a pretty huge nerf. This is, Set has been so good in solo queue, and I'm happy that the LCK are finally just blind picking Set because his numbers are just too high. But this is definitely bringing him down like 6% in win ratio. This is a huge nerf. 4 seconds difference is really big on the spell that every set is maxing for obvious reasons. So this is hefty, because keep in mind this is also the survivability. This is also the shield. So this will add up. Sona. So considering the core build, Athene and Redemption and Ardent Sensor, you reach around 200 AP. You lose 2% move speed off of that. This is 0.04, means 4%. This might be confusing. First time I read it was confusing. So this is 3% for 100 AP. So you lose 2% move speed for the AP on later parts, 20% instead of 25%. This is still pretty good, considering what you had before. Sona will still zoom around, and I think we are not. It is not over, the Soraka and the Sona action. So this matters, but I still think Sona is very strong. Yumi, no longer just a heal bot. Q, current health, so this is 2% to 8% going up with level. Target current health, so this is not maximum. This is higher on everyone when they're full HP, and then at a certain HP point it breaks even, and then it's worse. So you're losing base damage for current health damage, and also the mana cost has been changed. The thing that they want to shoehorn in is that they want to want you to max Q instead of maxing E, because E is getting nerfed on the base value here, and they want you to they gave it more scaling to compensate for later parts. Silence no longer counts as an immobilizing effect that places you and me on W second cooldown. This is a fiddlesticks, fiddlesticks and silence. I mean, Soraka nerf. It's not something you see that rare. It's kind of rare, I guess. We saw KT play Yumi, but I am not too impressed. It seems alright, you know, nothing too crazy. It's not gonna be like first pick prior like it was, and I think that's always the worry with champions like Yumi. So I'm just gonna put this on standby. I don't know how to rate Yumi. I didn't play Yumi. I didn't see Yumi. I saw Yumi one game and it didn't look too hot then, and that's it. Jungle monsters. So this is pretty significant for a lot of reasons. I think this is a big buff for all the junglers that clear fast. For you Karthus, it's a buff for the junglers that want to clear Krugs. Basically, large monster XP is increased. Monster Hunter, they are removing funnel from the game. This is effectively removing it. It is very good. God bless. Because funnel was disgusting. Like if funnel got a kill, they finished the jungle item and no longer had any penalties. Now it's at 14 minutes, has nothing to do with jungle item. So funnel, any type of funnel is gone. First large monster bonus XP, this is just to compensate for the loss of 10. I mean, the gain of 10 here. The first clear always gives you the most amount of XP. Krug, the Krugs give you more gold, 10 and 15. And then I guess the most significant one is the monster XP level scaling here, that it is amplified at level 4 and 115, 5 to 6. This should probably bring you down to getting level 6 at maybe like 8 minutes, 7 minutes, which is good. We're bringing ourselves closer to what it was in season 9, and season 9 was definitely a time where junglers were really OP. Season 10 is a time where junglers are very weak. They're trying to find the balance in between, and I think this is a step in the right direction for junglers. Every mid laner and top laner is very happy about this too, though. Just take Krugs. Okay, now Aram bug fixes. So there's some bug fixes that stood out to me. Was Nightbringer Leeson, the neck is fixed. Ornn's upgraded Might of Ruin King's passive no longer stacks with Blade Ruin King passive. I think that was interesting. Maybe there was some room to do some stuff there. Jace's R now works with Cloud Drake. That's cool. This was crazy, honestly. This went under the radar. Braum's passive concussive below stun duration now properly reduces by tenacity. So the fact that tenacity didn't work on Braum's passive for this long is really nuts. And then there's some silly bugs like Yumi no longer gets stuck in her ally Mordekai's RM of death when she casts W towards him as he's reviving via Zillion's Chrono Shift. So that's like, what's happening? That is a very cooked situation. This is also pretty big. Katarina's passive Sinister Steel daggers no longer gain 2 stacks of Conqueror per target hit. The fact that it did is crazy. It's quite mad. And that's it. That's it for 10.3. The impact it will have on competitive will happen in the next week's meta prediction. We're making a meta prediction right now for this week, and then we have one for, of course, next week as well. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. I hope this made some sense. Some decent changes overall. You know, I think they're just targeting win ratios. That's how Riot is nerfing and buffing nowadays. I don't know how they choose what to buff, but I think it's always what they want to see in the competitive meta. Maybe they have some information to see that Azir and Corki is a meta that people enjoy to watch or something. I don't know. I don't know what is the reasoning of buffing specifically Corki and Azir when there are champions that are definitely worse if they want to create equilibrium, meaning like a world where every champion is played. So I don't know. I don't understand the choice of choosing to buff Azir and Corki over and over. And then the rest is just competitive nerfs and win ratio nerfs. So the usual stuff. Very surprising that Soraka is not here. No Soraka. No Soraka at all. So that's the biggest question mark. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.